just want to clarify that there are actually 18 co-sponsoring organizations of today's conference. Mass Peace Action is one of them, and Ed Markey is our senator. But I want to make sure all the 18 organizations that worked on this get acknowledged. And so thanks for that. Next up is one of the most well-known peace activists in the United States who needs almost no introduction. Medea Benjamin was the co-founder of Codepink Women for Peace, and formerly she co-founded Global Exchange, the fair trade advocacy group. She is the author of Drone Warfare, Killing by Remote Control, The Kingdom of the Unjust, Behind the US-Saudi Connection, and Inside Iran, The Real History and Politics of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Medea. You're muted.
Yeah. So nice to be with you, and so nice to get a chance not to do a call to arms, but a call to disarm as we move forward. Before, I just want to acknowledge what I think Zia said about the issue of Palestine. I just came back from a protest, and I might make some people on this call angry, but that's usually my role. But to know that Israel has nuclear weapons, and there is so little pressure on Israel to even comply with international treaties, much less get rid of its nuclear weapons. And as we are negotiating with Iran to get back into that nuclear deal, it is quite a tragic irony that Israel does not have that kind of pressure so that we can have a nuclear-free Middle East. But I want to acknowledge so much of what Senator Markey just said about the time being ripe, and so much of what has been said in these hours. I think Trump was a wake-up call to people. I saw a poll that 79% of Americans were concerned about a president having the sole right to use nuclear weapons when Trump was the president. And now we have Biden. And one thing that I have learned in these 100+ days is that while there are many things that I'm disappointed about the Biden administration for not doing on the foreign policy front, I do recognize that he has many good things that he has said during the campaign that we have to hold him to, like his call for no first use, and that he is movable by public pressure. We've seen when they put forward a ridiculously low number of refugees to be allowed into the United States, how public pressure forced a very quick reversal of that. We saw that the Biden administration was against having the patents waived for the COVID vaccine, and with public pressure changed on that. And we see how Biden has been willing to stand up to the military-industrial complex in his calling for removal of troops from Afghanistan, despite what many have said in the intelligence community and what many in the Pentagon have said as well. So he is movable, and that's important for us to recognize. We also have an incredibly exciting Congress when we look at the Progressive Caucus, and about 100 members of that Progressive Caucus, led by the wonderful Pramila Jayapal. We also see how much the progressive members in Congress have been fighting to regain their role in terms of the authorization of the use of military force and in war powers resolutions. And we see that there is now even a defense reduction caucus in Congress that's looking at the military budget. And last year, we had 93 members of Congress who called for a 10% reduction in the military. And on this issue of no first use, to actually have bills in both the Senate and the House is very exciting. We've talked and mentioned a lot on this call about the international outcry against nuclear weapons, and the fact that we now have an international treaty to ban nuclear weapons, and how much that momentum that gives us from the ground up around the world. And then there has been a lot of talk about how the public sentiment is key to the change. And I think it's important for us to recognize that during this time of the pandemic, people have really been rethinking a lot of major things. Things that they never thought would happen have happened, like a pandemic, which makes it easier for us to talk about things they never think would happen, like a nuclear war that could easily happen. We also see people rethinking what they want to do with their lives, the things that are important to them in their lives, family, community, and cooperation, not just around health issues, but cooperation around the climate issues. And I think we can move people to understand the importance of cooperation around the nuclear issues as well. And there's also rethinking about how to use our monies, whether the importance of the relief packages to help people get through this pandemic gives us an opening to talk about not only the $30 to $50 billion in this budget for the quote modernization of nuclear weapons, but the $1.7 trillion, some say $2 trillion for the nuclear modernization program in the decades to come. So I just want to say that I think this campaign is really exciting, that you are an amazing group of people that have access to power. When somebody brought up how about getting a group together to meet with Biden, well, under Trump, we would have laughed, but we don't laugh about it now because there are many people here who actually have access. We have a coalition of the numerous groups that put together this, and I think
I hope she doesn't eat the onion there.
has
Shouldn't have
been
left it there.
brilliant about putting together coalitions, building the coalitions, Massachusetts and the whole country to come together around these issues. And I'm also so excited about your campaign that focuses on education of young people, because without a youth movement, we don't have a movement. But with the kind of education you're proposing in college campuses and high schools all around the country, we will have a very vibrant youth movement. And finally, I just want to say that I've heard people discussing differences among tactics, whether no first use is the right tactic to use or not. I am very excited that we can get beyond those kind of discussions and recognize that we need all kinds of tactics right now because we don't know which one will get us to our ultimate goal. And they are all indeed moving us towards the ultimate goal to rid the world of nuclear weapons. So thank you for the work. And I'm excited about working with you in this coming year to build a strong movement for no first use. Thank you.
Thank you, Medea. Now we're going to put up Jim Anderson for a final word. And you are muted, Jim.
There we go. A final word indeed, and it'll be short. And thank you, Sister Medea. Anyway, well, folks, we came, we heard, we expressed, and we have before us the big question that each of us have to answer, and that is, what are we prepared to do? So I leave you with these words. We have the opportunity. This is our chance to save the world. We can do it. Keep the faith, baby. Don't grow weary and continue to do the work. Everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here with us all. Peace.
And I'll just come in with one final organizational word. We will send out a wrap-up email probably Monday but conceivably tomorrow with a link to the video and with a recap of some of the action steps and some of the things that need to be done so that everyone can participate and also can help spread the word. Thank you all.